Hello guys, Judy here and you're welcome back to my channel. So let's create this beautiful look as seen, and in this video we're going to be doing the most simplest skin prep routine. So first of all, you clean the face with the micellar water. This I use the one from Mismetic with a cotton pad because you need a clean canvas where your makeup is going to stay on. So make sure your canvas is clean and your face is properly cleaned. And next, we need to moisturize the lip. It's really important you moisturize the lip. Really important. Don't leave your lips looking dry. Moisturize the lips, girl. Next, going into her skin to hydrate her skin with the Kiss Beauty hydrating spray. So I just spray that on her skin. I'm trying to like cover the hairline so it doesn't affect the frontal that she has on. So I'm just going to blend that into her skin, like let it sit into her skin with a brush. I usually don't let it dry out by itself. I just use my brush to just like make it sink into her skin. Next, we're going to be moisturizing. We are working with a combination skin, so I'm using this moisturizer that has like a bit of oil in it on her skin. I just love this moisturizer because it's really lightweight and it just does the job perfectly well for me. I apply that on every part of her face and under her eyes, which is the only thing you should apply under the eyes. Next, I'm going into her skin with the hydrating primer. This is the Omaricold hydrating primer. I just tap that into her skin like slightly. This primer is hydrating, it's not matte, and that is the look I'm going for. I'm not going for a matte finish. Then next, after the primer, I'm going to be using the illuminator on her skin because I still want that glow beneath the foundation. So I place that on the high point of her face, on her cheekbone, her chin, her temple, and the bridge of her nose. So I just want to have that inner glow beneath the foundation. So when doing this, I make sure it's all blended because I don't want to have patches on the skin. So I just make sure it's well blended and staying properly on her skin. So next is foundation. I'm mixing these three foundations because of the undertone and the shade that it has. So I just mix these three foundations to, give me her perfect shade. So while applying the foundation, it looks a bit light, but I just went ahead with it because this foundation oxidizes. Especially the Maybelline Fits Me, and I had more of the Maybelline Fits Me on her skin, so I just used my brush to blend that into her skin. Like I applied with my brush and went ahead with my beauty sponge, just to blend that out properly. Blending is really important when blending your foundation. You need to blend like your life depends on it because that is the base for every other product to stay on. Once you get your foundation wrong, sorry, but every other thing is wrong. So just make sure you get your foundation right. I really take my time to blend my foundation because I don't joke with my base. My base is really important to me. So I make sure there is no demarcation and patches. When it comes to blush, I really prefer cream blush. So I'm using this cream lipstick from my iMagic lip palette to do that. This lipstick blends properly into the skin, like it just blends in smoothly. I usually use my beauty sponge to apply on my brush. So in this case, I'm applying first with my beauty sponge and going ahead to blend it. No, sorry, applying with my brush, then blend in properly with my beauty sponge. I usually like take the excesses from the brush on her forehead area and also her nose just to give me like a little bit of color. Note, I'm not taking so much or packing so much blush on the skin, just excess from the brush that I'm using on the nose and the forehead. So it's time to contour. I use my Nuban Beauty dark concealer, one of the dark concealer from the Nuban Beauty I own. I can't remember the exact shade I use, but that's the product I use to contour her skin. So I just apply it as softly because I just want to, bronze the skin and not just like give it like a very serious dimension. So for concealer, I'm using these two shades from my Nuban Beauty. So I just mix them, then place that on under her eyes, on her chin, her forehead, and the bridge of her nose. Just places where I need to highlight. At this point, I was working together with the hairstylist, so you'll be seeing a little bit of her hand in the video. So I blended first with a brush and went ahead with my beauty sponge to blend in smoothly. When I blend, I usually just start from the chin and, just blend every other part where I have the concealer. And when I'm working with my Nuban Beauty concealer, I usually just blend as I go because the concealer is like it dries out fast. So if you can blend really fast, then you can apply every part of the skin before blending. But if you are not very fast with blending, you should just blend as you go. Just as you apply, you blend when working with your Nuban Beauty foundation. Sorry, concealer, you don't really need to leave it to get tacky. So now it's time to set her concealer. So I'm going to be setting first with a pressed powder, but first I want to give the face a lift, so that's why I'm applying concealer on this part of her, on the sides of her mouth, just to give the face like a little lift. So because the concealer and the contour kind of like reduce the intensity of my blush, I went ahead with the same brush I used to apply the blush, just to blend that into the skin properly. So I'm going to be setting under her eyes first with a pressed powder. So I'm using my Nuban Beauty pressed powder to set under her eyes, but before doing that I make sure I just like blend under her eyes first to avoid any creasing. So to warm up her face, I'm going to be using this powder from Nuban Beauty as well. This is in the shade 7, I think, Abuja. That's what the shade is, just to give the face a little bit of warmth. I just love when I'm working on a light skin person, I just like to bronze the face instead of contouring. So this is, I'm just trying to warm the face a little, using the same powder to contour the bridge of her nose. I usually don't do cream contour on the bridge of her nose, on the nose. Sometimes, or most times rather, I just usually like just use my powder, but sometimes I do cream contour, sometimes I do powder contour, just as the spirit leads. So I'm just using this powder to contour the nose, still giving me that warm shade, because I don't want to have like a very dark shade on the bridge of her nose. Did I say bridge of the nose? Sides of her nose, sorry. So to highlight her face, or set her face rather, under her eyes, I'm using my Nuban Beauty translucent powder. This is in Alabaster. This shade is really nice for light skin. So this works, it does the job. So what I do is that I make sure I blend under the eyes first before placing, and I don't like pack products under the eyes. I usually just like to use little quantity. This is a translucent powder anyway, so packing it is really not necessary, because you just need it to set under the eyes, not like leave colors there or anything. So I just set under the eyes and every part of the face where I concealed, and also on the side of her mouth, just taking the excesses a little bit to the side of her nose, just to give me that pointed nose illusion. By the time when I'm done blending, her nose will look slimmer when you take the setting powder by the side, to the sides of the nose rather. So applying on the chin and trying to set every part of the face where I applied my concealer. And note, when setting with a setting powder or a translucent powder, I don't just place the powder on the skin and leave it there. You shouldn't just place the powder on the skin and leave it there. You need to set. It's called setting, like setting the concealer. So you need to press it into the skin. Unless you're baking, of course, then you can like pack products there and blend it out later. But I just set directly. I don't bake. So just press the powder into the concealer for it to just set the concealer properly. So it's also setting the size of her lips, just to give her face a lift. See what it does to the face. So setting all over her face, I'm using my Nuban Beauty powder. This is like my favorite powder, so I use it all the time. I use it to set, I use it to contour, I use it to bronze, I use it to finish up the face. This is like my favorite powder. So eyeshadow, I filmed this separately because I really want the eyes to be details. Like I just really want you guys to understand and learn, have the time to watch just the eyes and understand and learn how I created this eye. So I'm going to also be dropping the video, so turn on the post notification to my post so you don't miss out when that post drop. So I'm just basically just blending and trying to take out excess powder from her face. So if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, this is the best time to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so to set her face, I'm using my Nuban Beauty setting spray, covering her hairline with my lash pack, because I don't want my setting spray ruining the lash line, because I don't want to have issues with the hairstylist. So I just let that sit and dry up almost completely, then blend into the skin with my beauty sponge. Then to intensify my blush, I'm using my classic blush palette to just intensify the blush. This blush palette is a must have, trust me. It's really, I love the shades that it has. So I just apply that and take the excesses on her forehead, her chin, and the ball of her nose, because I just want a little bit of color there. So to do her lip, I'm using my classic lipstick and my Eye Magic lip palette. So I use my classic lipstick on the lip, then use the brown from my Eye Magic lip palette to line the lip. And also after lining the lip, I went into the lip with a pink shade from the Eye Magic lip palette. So I just try to blend it into the lip, blend it into the brown, blend it into the classic, just blend everything together. And when it was blended to my satisfaction, I went ahead with my lip gloss. You can never go wrong with gloss. So I am a gloss girl, so I gloss the lip almost all the time. Even when I say, okay, this I'm going to leave it matte, at the end of the day, I just end up glossing it. I just can't help it. I love a glossy lip. I just feel like it makes you look more awake, cheeky, and I don't know, but that's just what I feel. Then to give the skin like a dewy look, I went ahead into the skin with my Tehila blush palette. This is a cream blush, so I just applied it just a little, just to give the skin like a dewy kind of look. So I use my mouth spray. This is a setting mist, and this keeps the skin refreshed and alive. So I spray that on the skin, then blend, and when it was almost dried completely, I just use my beauty spray to seal that into the skin. Then using my Tehila blush stroke highlighter palette, the highlighter from the palette in the shade Milk and Fantasy, so I just apply that on the cheekbone and use like a little brush to apply on the tear duct, just to make the eyes more awake. And this is my TM Essential Cheek Glazing Bubble. This is like a cream highlighter, so I just apply that all over the skin, just very little quantity, just gives the skin this awakening look. And this is the finished look, guys, and this was when the hair came down. Guys, this finished look is given. I'm loving this look. So guys, this is the end of this video. Please give it a thumbs up, very big thumbs up if you enjoy it. Subscribe to my channel if you're yet to, and bye for now.